Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering the upcoming events this week, having a look at some of our best performing altcoins over the course of the last 7 days, and jump in and have a look at some of the best performing coins over the last 7 days that we can look to add to our trading portfolio. And then we're also going to dive in, have a look at Bitcoin, see how this is all tracking along after giving our price predictions from last week. And then we're also going to jump in and touch on Ethereum now that we've seen the prices pop up from the lows. So lots to cover in today's video, guys. Let's jump into it. Firstly, this week is Fed week, so we have the FOMC meeting coming up in just over 2 days now on the Wednesday, and it does look like there is going to be a 96% chance that they only end up cutting rates by 25 basis points, which I think is what the market expects. So as far as price action goes on the back of this rate cut, I'm not actually expecting anything too exciting. If we jump in and have a look at how Bitcoin's been playing out from what we touched on last week, we can see that we have moved all the way back up to the highs for Bitcoin, and now we are starting to see some resistance, and across a lot of the altcoins here, we have started to see some resistance over the course of the last 24 hours. And as we scroll across here and have a look at a lot of the altcoin market from XRP or some of the better performing coins like Solana and Dogecoin, we can see that we've put in a bit of a local top here, and it's most likely that the local top we've also put in on Bitcoin here ends up being the high. And just like discussed last weekend, it's most likely we do continue to follow this fractal from 2021 as we are continuing to see more and more similarities from not only this fractal from 2021 that we have here on Bitcoin, but the same fractal from the same time period that we have here for XRP. And even if we look back at Ethereum here, like discussed last week, when we did say ETH would move up to these highs, for most likely pulling back before then it can get going and setting a new all-time high, which if you missed last week's Ethereum video, this is essentially what we've discussed. And if we have a look at how prices played out now, you can see that we're basically at those levels now where Ethereum should encounter some resistance, which yet again is exactly the way things ended up playing out in 2021 when getting back to these same price levels during the exact same period of the cycle that I believe we are in right now. So guys, price prediction for this week is most likely a little bit of chop around here at the highs before then eventually seeing Bitcoin plunge down and find support at this $112,000 region. As far as things go for Ethereum, I will be looking for something quite similar and ETH to come plunging down before then ripping back and taking out its previous all-time high. And I think ETH will continue to finish this accumulation structure that we're seeing play out here. An example of this from the past is when we have a look at Bitcoin here from 2023, and what you can see is that these accumulation structures are quite similar where we have these two highs and then price ends up selling off back down to the lows here. We've seen Bitcoin react like this back in 2023 where we see these highs, price comes back down to the lows here, and then after we see Bitcoin spill over and revisit these lows, we eventually see price push back out, take out these highs, and then we see this little ABC correction before we can get going, consolidate, and then essentially Bitcoin took off from there. And I think we've seen something quite similar to that on Ethereum right now where we have taken out these highs here, and I think we'll see some little correction like drawn, and then from there we can see Ethereum move up just like Bitcoin did back in 2023. And we'll be able to know exactly when this bottom does come in for Ethereum like it did on Bitcoin here when we see price actually shoot back up and go into this consolidation. So as far as what we're looking for here on Ethereum and on Bitcoin to also confirm that our lows end up holding here at 112,000 is price action to continue to play out like we've shown here. And that my confirmation that the low is in for Ethereum and Bitcoin is when we do see ETH's price move up, the consolidation that will end up happening here before we can then shoot higher. And if we move over to XRP, the way I'm seeing price react is actually quite similar to what we've just discussed. Push back higher, consolidate, forms the lows at these lows, and then we should start to see XRP push out, while during seeing Bitcoin perform like this and Ethereum also perform like this. Now, for some of the more bullish coins that we've been trading, like Dogecoin and like Solana, it's most likely these coins will just come in for a back test of the range highs here, which is about 25.5 cents for Dogecoin. And for Solana, most likely backtesting this region here, back on trend at about $218. So if you're looking to get into these trades and you missed this aggressive push up here that we've been discussing and trading since the 26th of August on the channel, this is most likely where I'll be looking to re-enter or add to a lot of my positions, as I have started to take a lot of profit in the last couple days. And for those new to the channel, this is how some of the trades are performing. This is Dogecoin here, which has been our best performer. Still up over 320% on this trade, but you can see we are starting to sell as price has been moving to the upside here. And still having a look at the rest of the trades down below here, we can see that Solana has been our second best performer, still up over 275%. And we have taken a little bit of profit on all of our positions here, and we will be looking to re-add when we see the pullback on Bitcoin, which I think will come after the Fed meeting, most likely sometime next week. And because the market is expecting this rate cut, I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact on price. Now, if we jump over and have a look at CoinGecko here, we can see some of the coins that have performed the best in the last 7 days. And as you can see down below here, Dogecoin and Solana, two of the coins that we were trading here live on the channel, have been some of the best performers performing coins across the market. However, there are a lot of coins here like AVAX and Mantle that I will be looking to add to my portfolio, especially moving into this final stage of the market as we're seeing strong performance from these two coins so far. As far as some of these coins up the top here, I'm not very familiar with any of them, and I think a lot of these are just being pumped by influencers at the moment. But a lot of these stronger tokens like AVAX that I am quite familiar with, I was a big holder of this in 2021, will most likely continue to perform later on in the cycle. So I'll be looking to add AVAX and Mantle into my trading portfolio once we do see the pullback here on Bitcoin. So guys, pretty exciting week ahead. We will most likely see the rate cuts end up playing out. However, I'm not anticipating the biggest price push on the back of that, as the whole market has pretty much priced in that we are going to see a rate cut. And I think it's most likely we actually continue to accumulate here for Bitcoin and see a short-term pullback, especially across a lot of the altcoin market, just like we've seen ETH do in 2021, like we've shown in previous videos. And now that the total market cap of crypto here, excluding Bitcoin, which is essentially the altcoin market, has made it back to that 2021 all-time high, it's very likely that we counter a bit of resistance, a bit of volatility at these levels. And I think once we see price get back to these levels and then push higher, this will essentially be our breakout moment that we're all looking for. However, a running trend this cycle that we've seen so far is price take out previous all-time highs, the quick ABC correction, and then we tend to continue upwards from that, which is essentially what we've discussed countless times over and over here on Bitcoin throughout the course of this market cycle. And now that the altcoin market is back at these levels, I am expecting it to play out quite similar to the way Bitcoin has, which on a higher time frame perspective puts us right here back at the highs from 2021. And I think when we do see that breakout from these levels here, guys, which I'm expecting will be coming in the next week or two, it should be quite explosive and we should see fireworks here across a lot of the cryptocurrency market. So guys, I'll be back later on in the week to keep you updated on how price is playing out. If you guys have any questions about what we've discussed in this video today, feel free to drop them down below in the comment section, and I'll get back to all of you guys as we await the upcoming rate cuts. So guys, exciting times ahead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like down below if you did. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.